Mysterious DNA discovered in 6,000-year-old skeletons? Who were these people really? Buried beneath layers of soil and silence, ancient skeletons carry the genetic whispers of forgotten civilizations. For decades, archaeologists have relied on artifacts, tools, bones, burial sites to reconstruct the story of early humans. But now DNA is rewriting everything. In a groundbreaking discovery, scientists analyzing 6,000-year-old skeletons from various archaeological sites have unearthed genetic signatures never seen before. These aren't just minor variations. They are mysterious, unclassified strands of human DNA that don't align with any known ancient populations. Who were these people? Where did they come from? And why did their lineage vanish so completely? In this video, we'll dive deep into the science, mystery, and the implications of this DNA discovery. From lost migration routes to forgotten civilizations, this could change what we thought we knew about human history. 1. The discovery, where the skeletons were found. The DNA came from multiple archaeological digs, spanning Eastern Europe, the Middle East, and parts of Central Asia. These sites were once homes to early agrarian societies transitioning from nomadic hunting to permanent farming settlements. Among the remains were well-preserved skeletons, buried with pottery, jewelry, and rudimentary tools. But it wasn't the artifacts that made headlines. It was the unexpected genetic markers found inside the bones. When DNA was extracted from molars and femurs, researchers expected to see known lineages: Neolithic farmers, Mesolithic hunter-gatherers, or the later Indo-European steppe people. Instead, they found unknown sequences that didn't match any known population group. This led to one simple question: were there civilizations we've completely overlooked? 2. What the DNA actually showed. The genetic code of every human is a storybook of ancestry. Scientists compare modern and ancient DNA by looking at haplogroups, sections of DNA passed down largely unchanged through generations. In this case, the sequences from these 6,000-year-old individuals didn't fully align with any existing haplogroup. They weren't Neanderthal, they weren't Denisovan, and they didn't match known early Homo sapiens groups from Europe or the Near East. Instead, the DNA suggested the presence of a completely different genetic branch, one that might have diverged tens of thousands of years ago and remained isolated until these individuals died. The presence of such unique signatures suggests a ghost population, a term used in genetics for a group that once existed but left no modern descendants or records. 3. Theories about their origin. There are several competing theories about who these people might have been, an isolated subspecies. One hypothesis is that these individuals were part of an early offshoot of Homo sapiens that migrated into the region before being absorbed or wiped out by later arrivals. A lost migration wave. Others believe they were part of an undocumented migration wave, moving through Eurasia and settling in small, genetically distinct communities. A hybrid group. Some scientists suggest they may have interbred with an unknown archaic hominin, similar to how modern humans once interbred with Neanderthals and Denisovans. Each theory raises more questions than answers, but all suggest that the human story is far from fully told. 4. Cultural clues buried with the bodies. The skeletons weren't alone. Many were discovered with unusual burial items, tools crafted with unfamiliar styles, jewelry made from exotic shells or stones, and ceramic designs that didn't match neighboring cultures. In one burial site, skeletons were arranged in circular patterns, suggesting a ritual or symbolic element to their funerals. Another site showed signs of cranial deformation, a deliberate shaping of the skull, which may point to distinctive cultural identities or beliefs. These artifacts hint at a society that wasn't just biologically unique, but culturally sophisticated and symbolically rich. 5. Why this matters to human history. For years, human migration models have focused on major known events: the out-of-Africa exodus, the Neolithic farming spread, and the Indo-European migrations. But this discovery suggests there were other players, populations that came, thrived, and vanished without leaving linguistic or political traces. The genetic gap they represent is as large as what once existed between Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. It forces historians and geneticists to reconsider linear models of ancestry. Human history may have been more like a tangled web, full of side branches and dead ends, rather than a clean family tree. This suggests our story isn't one of linear progress, but layered coexistence, where cultures rose, mingled, and were erased before leaving a permanent record. 6. How did they disappear? If this group was so genetically distinct, why did they vanish? There are multiple possibilities. Absorption. They could have been slowly absorbed into neighboring populations, their DNA diluted beyond modern recognition. Disease. A lack of immunity to new pathogens may have led to sudden collapse. Climate shifts. Changes in rainfall, food supply, or temperature could have made survival impossible. Violence or conquest. As more aggressive or better equipped groups migrated in, these people may have been overrun. Whatever the cause, their genetic legacy was erased until now. 7. Technology that made this possible. Just a decade ago, this discovery would have been impossible. Thanks to next-generation DNA sequencing, scientists can now analyze tiny, degraded fragments of genetic material from ancient remains. Advances in bioinformatics allow those fragments to be matched across global genetic databases in seconds. Even better, clean lab techniques mean contamination from modern handlers no longer ruins fragile samples. These tools aren't just reshaping what we know, they're opening portals to human stories buried for millennia. Modern AI-assisted sequencing can now detect genetic anomalies faster than ever, enhancing precision and reconstructing entire genomes from even partial samples. 8. Could these be the descendants of an unknown hominin? One of the more radical theories suggests that this DNA could come from interbreeding with an unknown hominin, separate from both Neanderthals and Denisovans. The data includes unexplained genetic variants that don't occur in any modern human, or even any sequenced archaic hominin so far. If that's true, this wouldn't just be a new tribe, it would be an entirely new branch of the human family tree, a group that may have coexisted with Homo sapiens and contributed genetically, culturally, or both to early civilization. This raises the possibility that more hybrid species existed than previously thought, many of them leaving no fossil remains but traces embedded in our oldest DNA. 9. What's next? Ongoing excavations and testing archaeologists are already revisiting old dig sites with new tools, hoping to find more skeletons with similar DNA. Meanwhile, new digs in Georgia, Armenia, and Iran are underway, targeting geological layers from the same era, around 4,000 to 6,000 BCE. Anthropologists, geneticists, and linguists are working together to connect genetic patterns with language evolution, cultural artifacts, and migration models. Advanced satellite imaging and soil-resistant scanning may help locate untouched grave sites, offering new clues about burial customs and settlement boundaries of this forgotten people. The big picture, humanity's hidden chapters. This discovery reminds us that history isn't static. It's constantly being rewritten by the bones beneath our feet. There may be dozens of forgotten civilizations buried under our cities, mountains, and oceans. Entire peoples who built, thrived, and vanished long before recorded history began. DNA is now doing what archaeology alone could not, giving a voice to those who left no written language or architecture. In this case, the bones spoke, and what they said was, "We were here, you just forgot." And as science advances, the once silent voices of long-lost humans will keep speaking, telling us stories we were never meant to forget. Conclusion. The discovery of mysterious DNA in 6,000-year-old skeletons isn't just a scientific breakthrough. It's a challenge to everything we thought we knew. It reveals a lost population, a forgotten branch of the human story, and a glimpse into a world with more complexity than textbooks ever suggested. As scientists continue to dig deeper into both the ground and the genome, who knows what other ancient voices might emerge? Let us know what you think. Could this be evidence of a lost civilization? Or are we just scratching the surface of prehistory? Like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the unknown corners of history, science, and the human experience. Because sometimes the real mystery isn't what we remember, it's what we forgot.